Yo.
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 Flames Talk, we're back, baby.
Woo!
We've been doing this for 1 year, and we instantly realized we also have to watch Flames hockey when they're losing. Walker Deer! Connor Zari's looking promising, man.
Boom! Welcome back to the Puck and Stuff podcast, boys. I am B-Dog, as always. Beside me, as always, T-Dog. How are we doing today?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty all right. Guys, welcome back to the final Flames talk of Season 3 on Puck and Stuff. Not going to lie, it was a rough season. It was a little bit of a rough season. Couple wins, couple of losses. Like every week was win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. If you guys also didn't notice, it's been a month since we've done a Flames talk. In the last episode we did, it was 15 games left. And did we have high hopes for anything? No, not really. It wasn't anything spectacular. But in those 15 games, we won 5 of them and we lost 10 of them. As of right now, if we don't win the lottery, we have the 9th pick overall. And to be honest, that's kind of what we wanted. We wanted a good draft pick. And to be honest, now the rest is history. We move on into another season. T-Dog, what are your thoughts on the season? And I think we'll just kind of start a conversation off from there.
The draft pick is all you can really hope for when you have a season like this.
Yeah.
We started off not well. Not well at all. I can't remember. Maybe we were 2-7. I can't remember the actual
It was not pretty.
stats for Shea, but the whole time they were playing, they were just chasing the league. They were chasing playoff standings, and they were just chasing other teams. I'm not gonna lie. This entire season, not once did I really think, man, this team has a chance to do something. I won't lie. There were times where I thought maybe they could make playoffs. I think about late November, a few of those string some wins, beating Dallas in an overtime. I was thinking, okay, maybe something can come out of this, but there needs to be consistency. Consistency has and was never there. And that's probably the biggest factor, I'd say, with this Flame season. Just not consistent. The competitiveness was there, and I have to say that's one thing I do respect about this team this year. The competition level, they did not quit. Not a lot of lackadaisical players, and I almost wonder if that's because of how Huska coached them and made them accountable to their positions and how they should play, and I respect that about Huska. So there's some positives that you can take from this season, and I think these positives will grow into something even more beautiful down the road. But the negatives, of course, are the most endearing ones right now because it's the playoffs right now and the Flames aren't in it, and so, you kind of feel that. I'll quickly give it over to you in a second, but I guess my thoughts as well. You're kind of in a losing scenario anyways when you have a bunch of expiring contracts. You need to get them out. You need to get some assets for them. You do. Maybe not what we all expected. Maybe we kind of overestimated the value of these players, but they had to happen. And once you do that, you trade players like Zadorov, Tanev, Hanifin, and Lindholm, a bunch of these roster spots are then replaced by other people, whether that's in the farm team or coming up from the farm team. Chemistry is not there. So, of course, that's going to affect. And you could see that. You could see this, especially once Hanifin got traded. And, man, we really do miss Hanifin. You can just tell the back end has not been the same since.
Yeah.
But once Hanifin was traded, after a few games, you could tell, people, you needed people to step in to play the minutes that he was playing. And not many players were able to adjust to that, and that really affected them. Our defensive structure at the end, abysmal, not good. And you noticed that, a lot of the games were high scoring because of that.
Yeah, definitely. You did notice a lot of that, especially without Hanifin, but I think realistically, those trades did have to happen. We knew that our defensive core were going to obviously drop with only Anderson and Weegar and Oliver Shillington left on the D end that were capable of playing the top 4, basically. And I was happy that those trades were made. Realistically, we still got the first round pick that we needed out of it. Miramanov still did pretty well for playing, I believe, up to 15 to almost 20 minutes time a game. He didn't do bad. think he did. He played his role pretty well, and he was a big body out there, which I loved. But for the rest of the season alone, we've been saying it realistically all season, it was mucky middle until the Flames finally decided to kind of go on a losing streak, and we were like, oh, great, we can finally enter a top 10 pick and get a really special player out of the draft, which I think realistically we wanted. I'm going to say I loved the Elias Lidholm trade. Kuzmenko looked excellent for the Flames at the end of the season.
I want him to stay.
I said in the Chell Talk that he finished the season with more points than Elias Lindholm did since the trade, so I love that as well. But I mean, Conroy's sticking to his word. I loved everything that he has done so far. The one thing that kind of like irks me is like, I think this team does kind of deserve that little bit of a rebuild, but they won't say it. They'll only say retool. And I'm like, is that Conroy saying it, or is that the ownership telling Conroy that's all he can really do?
They're not even saying retool.
Oh,
they're saying getting younger.
They're saying retool. They're saying retool. They have the balls to say retool. They just don't have the balls to say rebuild, because this team deserves a rebuild. I personally think so. Like a team that sucks for 5 to 6 years and then comes back up and actually has the star talent I think this team deserves. It needs that, but they'll never do it with this ownership. It's going to be sad. It's just the sad reality of it. But I mean, I'm excited for the offseason. I wasn't jumping for joy by the end of the season. I honestly wanted us to lose the last game because the Kraken won. And if we lost, that means we would have dropped to 8th instead of 9th. So we're in the top 10.
Hey,
we're in the
maybe
top
that's
10.
where we get teased, right?
That's a discussion we have to have. Definitely.
Off season, I haven't really thought about it too much. I've just been more focused on playoffs come hockey. But, you know, what am I looking forward to? I think decision with Markstrom.
Yeah.
That's one. I'd like to see what's going to happen with some players such as Mangiapane. You know, do you trade him? Can you even, or do you even want to, because his value would have diminished a little bit because of this season? Players like who came in or came back to the team, such as Shillington, Kuzmenko, what's going to happen to them? Things of that. I would also like to kind of just see, Conroy said in the presser, willing to trade for the age range of 18 to 23. That's right, and getting younger. So, like, what Conroy is doing is speaking to a retool, but it's all in a sense speaking to a rebuild too, but they can't officially say that because you're going to have to keep players like Huberdeau, right?
Yeah.
And you're still going to have some of that veteranship with, like, Anderson. I don't know how long he'll be here. At Uyghur too, right, for say. So, and Kadri. So that's something to think about. I think Coleman would probably stay as well. But really, I guess those are my thoughts. Is kind of those, again, like just what we had with a bunch of these players. I guess Toffoli left too.
Yeah, he
a
did.
lot of players. But just what kind of happens to those lingering contracts and things like that, because I think those I want to hear answered, and I really just want to see what Conroy does in the offseason when it comes to the draft and to the trade, and see if he's actually going by his word, which he has, and that's good. But see if you will stay consistent with that and, keep the team younger. And I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, I think you're right on the money with that. I'm going to start off with the Markstrom thing. He doesn't know exactly where he's playing next season. And we know this because of the trade rumors coming from the deadline with New Jersey. You even noticed this with Dustin Wolf even getting more games played in the NHL, which is great on our part because the NHL experience is what he needs. And even just playing these last 10 to 15 games left in the season was great for him because now he can have that experience going into the next season. Sure, did I think Dustin Wolf played like amazing? No, he played like a rookie, but he played like an average goalie who is a rookie. That's a good sign because this is like one of his first times playing in the NHL, and you noticed his size a little bit, but it didn't impact him as much as a lot of people thought. Again, every league Dustin Wolf has gone into, he's shown up to be one of the best goalies in that league. And WHL, AHL, potentially someday the NHL, but we don't know for sure. But I'd love to see it. Oh, do I have expectations for this offseason? Oh boy. You're right. Conroy is expecting a retool. And it's nice to hear he wants young guys in because that's the problem with this team. We're kind of in a weird stump because we signed long-term deals to older players, and now we have to kind of go through a retool situation because no one's going to want those contracts at least for another 2 to 3 seasons. So I'm excited. It's just I'm kind of bummed out because this is the weird part of the season where we're not in playoffs. Playoffs is happening. Good hockey's happening. And I'm not really interested in this team right now. So I want to get I'll be interested in this team when it comes to draft time, but right now it's hard to talk about this team because of how the season went basically.
Listen, we're not doing anything with the team next year. Like,
no.
There's nothing that's going to happen. If we make playoffs, it'll be a squeak in wild card. And
which we don't need.
Yeah, we don't need exactly. We don't need it at all. We need more draft picks.
Yeah.
I think, for us, we just look forward to drafts. I guess you kind of watch a few teams, Vegas, Dallas, because if they, go far and win cups, there's implications for our draft spots when it comes to depth picks.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I did like about Conway this year is we got a lot of assets, and pretty much the ingredients of the trades for our return was always like youth for prospects, people you could put into the roster now to actually make an impact, and then 3 assets such as draft picks. And it seems like most trades had all of that, and that was the best part. We got a lot of draft picks now, which usually we don't. So even if we, only get 9th overall, you have enough draft picks that your chances of maybe getting some stud in the later rounds increases. So that's pretty positive to think about. Yep. And then too, like I think about getting young players in the system such as Hunter Brustevich. That's a lot of potential there, right? So this is good. Look for the future. And then, prime example, Andrei Kuzmenko, players who can slot in right now. But Kuzmenko and Miranov, to me, are the ones that stick out the most.
That's fair. Some players I do just kind of want to mention for still having a pretty solid year, even though just how the season went. The leader on the points for the Calgary Flames, Nazem Kadri, almost hit 30 goals this season, but with 82 games, 75 points. You got to give a lot of credit to Nazem Kadri. He really did help boost that Connor Zary, Martin Pospisil line, which I think honestly was our best line all season long. And I loved it. I really did. It gave Connor Zary a little bit of a boost and got him talking in the Calder talks a lot. So I loved that for Nazem Kadri. He had a really good year with us on his second year. 2 guys that I definitely loved was Sharon Govich and Blake Coleman. Both guys are 30 goal scorers for us this season. Sharon Govich proved to us that we won that trade with Tyler Toffoli. And I love that. I really did because, to be honest, going into the season, I didn't really know what Sharon Govich was because I knew he was a young, tall forward that had the skating ability, and it looked like he had a shot, and he proved it this year to me. So I love that what he did for us this season and a breakout season for say. And you also got to give it to Blake Coleman at his age, hitting a career high in goals and points, I believe. So I love seeing that from those 2. Huberdeau hit his career low with the Calgary Flames. He couldn't even hit last year's 55. He hit 52 points. So
yeah,
that contract's really just looking worse and worse each week.
Yeah. But you know what? The only saving grace right now is because you get younger, your contracts probably aren't going to be as expensive right now. So
yeah. So,
but yeah, I really thought he was going to have some sort of bounce back season.
Maybe next year.
And you know what? He was way better in the new year for sure. And I think his defensive game has improved too. So that's great.
Yeah, especially since he only had 1 point in December.
I would just love to see Huberdeau just find a way just to come back to life from Florida, and just really show what he can be.
Yeah.
In that sense, I don't think we're ever going to get that. I think we're past that deadline now, but I'd love to be wrong.
I
really would, and I root for Huberdeau, man. I really do. I don't want to hate on him and stuff. I think his attitude towards what's happening is good, but it'd be nice. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's something he works on this season. But you know what? Again, like he's been improving, and I root for him. You know what I mean? So I just hope that his play gets even better next season.
Yeah, me too. I really hope because I like Huberto. I believe he is a good person, and you're right. He is probably dealing with this the right way. It's just we need you putting points up on the board so you can look like a contending team, and you paid that money because we're expected you to lead the charge for that, which sucks because he's
Exactly.
not. But as I'm trying to take this more in a positive note, Mackenzie Weegar is the best defenseman Calgary's had in a hot minute. As
Oh
he's
yes.
20 goals for the season, 52 points with 32 assists. Damn, and 200 blocked shots. The first player in NHL history to have 200 blocked shots and 20 goals on the season. So, wow, that's impressive. Out of everything that has gone bad for the Flames, it's really nice to hear a defenseman like Weegar is putting up that kind of stat. It's really nice because you kind of have a Tanev that can score. that's really nice to have for this team. And I'm not gonna lie, as he was doing interviews, he looks like he's really committed to this team and this city. He acts like a future captain, man. He acts like a
Yeah,
future
yeah.
captain. I love to see it from him.
For a defenseman like him, 20 goals is what, 35, 40 goals with the equivalency of a forward,
Yeah, pretty much.
which is outstanding. And this position he plays well. Like, he eats up minutes too. And man, like again, I always remember that Huberto trade and being most excited because the addition of Uyghur too was just, you knew that was just going to help the back end, and
Yeah.
man, as it has. And yeah, his leadership ability is outstanding, and it's awesome. I mean, I'm gonna have to get a Uyghur jersey. I might have to get a Uyghur jersey
Ooh.
because he's slowly becoming one of my favorite players, which is kind of funny. I never thought to really take a liking of the defensive position in that sense. But I guess captaincy wise too, like how do you feel about Backlund? How do you think that he fared for his first year being a captain?
I mean, yeah, to be honest with you, it was kind of shaky at first. You and I kind of felt like there was a lot of problems in the locker room and there had to be trades to be dealt with. But as a captain, I felt like he was good. Not a bad first year. I mean, he deserved the captaincy. He's been there the longest. He's
Yep.
knows what it's like in that locker room. It makes sense, but I don't know, man. I feel like there's other players there that could potentially be next captain, and you could make a case that could be captain right now. But Backlund wasn't bad. I think still he's going to be the captain for the future until he's had enough with Calgary. I think realistically that's the case with Backlund. I think he'll do fine. He'll do fine.
Yeah. Well, I think he probably is. Excuse me. Probably fares and succeeds really well, but we don't see it because we're not in the locker room.
Yeah, exactly.
That's something to think. There's one thing about how we all think this with Uyghur because we've seen leadership qualities in game and stuff, but as well too, like he talks to the media like that and holds that accountability. Backlund isn't as media savvy, which is fine. Like some people just don't want to do that, and that's completely fine. So we probably don't actually see how good of a leader he is.
Yeah. It's either on the ice or in front of social media people, which probably isn't the best way to judge. Well, actually, you know what? One thing I can also add about Backlund too is his the reason why I think we made him captain is what he does on the ice. And I think you've mentioned this a few times this season. When you are a rookie on a line with Backlund, you become instantly better. He makes players around him better. And that's what I love to see about Backlund. And it could be the reason why we made him captain.
Yeah, that's another good point. That's true. We were talking about that. And you did see that. A few times Zari played along with him. I think Coleman's always kind of been with him, winging him. And yeah, I guess the third line has always been solid, and I think he is that foundation.
Yeah.
So there's benefit to it. I mean, I gotta say, he's playing really well too for his age. I just starting to get a little older, and that's awesome.
I mean, 82 games, he had 39 points with 15 goals and 24 assists. So sadly enough, you do notice a little bit of the decline, but when you have him on the second and third line, that's kind of fair. Who has been your favorite rookie or young player that has been playing this season on the Calgary Flames? There's a list. Quite a list. There's Wolfie, there's Peltier, there's Coronado, there's Pospisil, there's Zari. that for a Flames team like this, there is quite a notable number of rookies.
I think honorable mention would be Pospisil, and because not just that he hits and is physical and has the name for that now, but he has a bit of a scoring touch.
Yeah.
I think Zari for me. I think Zari because every time I've watched a game live or watched a fun game, it seems like he always has some sort of impact. And when he scores, they're just like, wow, he's got a lot of potential, And you just hope that he just keeps growing from here. I think that there needs to be work on some of the other rookies. Again, these are rookies, right? So just give it time. But I think Zari to me feels like the most complete out of all the rookies.
Oh.
He's my pick. He is my pick. Yeah.
That's a very fair pick. I can completely understand that. I'm going to also give my honorable mention to Pospisil. You made a good point. He is becoming kind of that roughhouse little rat that Kachuk kind of did for us. So it's nice to have that kind of presence in a rookie player again. I love to see it. Another honorable mention I will give is to Matt Coronado. When he did join the lineup for game 1, and he was playing, I believe, for the first 10 to 15 games. And he looked good, but you could tell he was a rookie. So we sent him down to the AHL for a couple games, and you saw his confidence grow in the AHL. He put up basically over a point per game in the AHL, and we brought him back up for the last half of the season because we traded some players. And you notice his confidence grow in the NHL. You saw how he reacted when he got his first few goals back up in the league. And dude, he's got one hell of a shot. You got to give him credit for his shot, man. In his skating, you got to love him for that. So seeing Coronado do that in his first rookie season with the Flames is really nice to see, especially when you're looking at the future of Calgary. I would love to see him as our next kind of big 40 to 50 goal scorer for this team. I would love to see that.
Yeah,
but
I mean, nice and be completely grown in our farm.
Yeah, exactly.
Not Calgary born per se, but Calgary developed player. That'd be really cool to see a 50 goal scorer like that.
Exactly. So, but you're correct. The best rookie the Flames had this year was Connor Zary. It made the most sense. He made the most impact as a rookie to this team. He made it feel like there was a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel with this team of what potentially the Flames have down the line, because he was sitting in the AHL with the Wranglers getting developed for, I believe, like 2 to 3 seasons, man. It was a while, and you and I kind of forgot about him until we brought him up. And he just gelled really well with Ryan Huska's system, and playing with Kadri and Pospisil even grew his game more. And you could see there was good chemistry with them, and it grew his game. And like I said before, it made him a Calder conversation player. And you don't realistically see that with a lot of Flames players. And with Connor Zary, I was so happy to see it come from him out of everyone. So he's definitely the best performing rookie on the Flames for this season. This is kind of the next question I'm going to ask now. With the 9th overall pick, unless somehow with the 5% chance we have of getting first overall, if you are the GM and you walk up there and with the 9th overall pick, the Calgary Flames select.
Yeah, so well, Chicago's going to get Celebrini. It won't be San Jose. We know that because.
Dude, that's going to hurt if it's not San Jose. I'll be mad.
It's going to be. I swear, it'll happen. Calgary, I think, needs to pick the best player on the board. And if the best player on the board is Tease, you take him. If not, you might just have to take someone else. Like, if Dickerson is there, maybe you take him. Or what if... I don't think Demidov would be, but what if somehow Demidov's there? You know what I mean? Like, you take that. Yakimchuk, Yakimchuk. Imagine, this is very hypothetical, but imagine Brustevich, Yakimchuk, a future defense pairing.
Oh,
It'd be pretty nice, right? With the potential they have. I can't. I'm gonna say it's tough for me. I think honestly they're gonna pick Tej if he's not picked beforehand. But if not, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I honestly can't really give you an answer. I'll be honest. I think, yeah.
Well, damn, man. I can understand why it's tempting to pick Teach. He's looking really good in the WHL. In his first season in the WHL, he's played 64 games and put up 84 points. That is very rare for a guy who just entered his first season into the WHL. He's still a young player, and you notice, and another thing we can add is scouts and managers really love a former NHL player's kid is now playing in the WHL, and a lot of managers could probably like that a lot more since it is a former player's son playing in the league. So he's been around everything and understands right away what's going on in the situation he's in. So if you bring a guy like TJ Ginla to Calgary, a lot of Flames fans will love it. The marketing on it would be nuts. Jerseys for him would sell out so quick.
Murray Edwards will probably just force this to happen anyways, just because it's a marketing ploy.
Yeah, dude, everything makes sense if you do draft TJ Ginla at 9th. It really does. It kind of matches up too, since he's like a left winger center. You could probably even develop him into a center if you want, depending on what you do with Zari. It just makes a lot of sense to draft Tej, but at the same time, I understand why this team would love to draft Sam Dickerson as a defenseman too, because you don't see a defenseman drop 70 points in the OHL every year, right? Adding a guy like Sam Dickerson definitely improves the top 4 going into the future. I would be kind of upset if we didn't pick Tej. I'm not going to lie. But if we get a guy like Sam Dickerson on defense, I would be really happy. So I don't know how to feel, because I feel like Tej has that upside right now where he could be just as good as his dad.
It's possible. It's funny that, again, at 10. Excuse me. So I don't know. I mean, Montreal said that they've been looking at him a lot, so maybe Montreal picks him. And you have no chance. But I don't know. I mean, I don't even know. We'll see what happens. You shouldn't be drafting based on emotion. Draft on best player there. I think the best player, if the best player is not Tej on the board and Tej is still up, you pick the guy who's best. You got to do it.
Yeah, I know.
We'll see. We will see what happens. We just got to wait for draft lottery day and then the draft itself. And I don't want to think about that until we know who the finals, who the cup winner is. So
yeah, that's true. That's very true.
In a nutshell, this season I didn't have a lot of expectations. I think I put this team 5th on my ranking for the Pacific Division, and it's because I didn't think they were going to make playoffs. It was a step behind, a step back, but the step back was kind of forced because of a lot of factors, such as having to trade these contracts out and the team needing to be kind of retooled and everything and restructured, and you lose chemistry because of that. And we played competitive, but we were never really in it, even at the start of the season. And so here we are. Out of the playoffs, never really close to getting into the spot or into a wild card spot, and pretty much just waiting for next season and seeing what happens in the offseason.
Yeah, I came into this season with a little bit of expectation. I thought we would be just hanging outside of a wild card just like we did the year before. And I kind of got what I wanted instead of being lower, which means a better draft pick and a better player. So I'm not complaining having the draft at 16th compared to 9th now. So I'm kind of happy that my prediction went the way it did. And now I'm going to go into the next season probably with no expectations like T-Dog over here.
Yep.
Which I finally understand why he did. He went into the season with no expectation. And you know what? I think realistically as a Flames fan for the next few seasons, until we realistically get it figured out and get some solid young players in this lineup, that's probably the attitude we're going to have for the next couple seasons. But you know what, T-Dog? We signed up for this. We signed up for this when the Flames are good. We have to sign up for it when they're trash.
It's loyalty, man.
It's loyalty.
Just gotta keep going. Just makes the victory more sweeter.
Oh,
more
yes.
sweet.
At least we're not as bad as the Leafs, though. At least we had a finals appearance in the 2000s.
I mean, we can't really say that because they're in playoffs right now, so.
Yeah. I can say it since they haven't won anything realistically since 67.
I mean,
you could make that case even longer because
we haven't won anything since 89, so I mean, we're getting up there.
We are, but
Yeah.
we had a finals appearance. I'll take it.
Yeah, we did. And, even though it happened 20 years ago, we'll still talk about it like it was yesterday. Pretty much, man. Pretty much.
But hey, guys, this has been the final episode of Season 3 for Flames Talk with T-Dog and I. I hope you guys did enjoy this season. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment, and please subscribe. We love the support you guys give to this channel and to the Calgary Flames themselves. Go Flames, go. T-Dog, wrap this up.
I can't believe it's been 3 seasons. More like 2.25, because we started pretty late during the playoff.
We joined halfway through the first season.
Not even. I don't even think it was halfway. It was January.
January.
So just over half.
Yeah. Anyways, whole numbers.
But pretty much 3. That's time flies. But that's really cool. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening and watching. However you are consuming this content. Just thank you for the support in general. It means a lot to us, and we just love doing this. And as Flames fans, hey, just gotta show the support, right? And no matter what happens. But hey, I guess we have some things to look forward to that draft. The shovels being put in for the new arena and things of sorts. So hey, guess it's time for some Stampede and some Country Thunder and enjoy that. And it's back to September for some preseason hockey and then back at it again. So in the meantime, playoff hockey.
Playoff hockey. Let's watch some good hockey. I can't wait.
Pretty much. All right, boys. Well, thanks for listening, and we will see you guys in the next one. But and as always, go Flames, go baby.
Go Flames, go. See you in season 4.
Peace.
Peace.